Christian Mbilli versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko, 12 rounds in the 168-pound division. Let's get into it. Let's start with both fighters' respective records. Mbilli, 27 wins, no losses, 23 wins by way of knockout. Sergiy Derevyanchenko, 15 wins, no losses, 10 wins by way of knockout. On paper, this is supposed to be Christian Mbilli's toughest test yet. Will it be? Obviously, we'll see on the night, and we'll see how it fully unfolds. When I think about Christian Mbilli, man, I mean, he's got that workhorse type of style, man. He's got that fan favorite type of style because he's heavy pressure, heavy work rate, a lot of big punches, high octane. The conditioning is out of this world. He's got a lot to work with that make him successful. He's going to come in shape. He's going to be ready for this fight, and his conditioning is not going to be a problem as it hasn't been so far in his career. Now, Derevyanchenko, man, like, that's a tough opponent, bro. Like, that's a tough opponent. Don't let the 5 losses on his resume fool you. This man can fight at 38 years old. I believe that he can still fight. He's got a ton of experience at the highest level. I mean, the individuals that he's lost to, Daniel Jacobs, former champ, Triple G, Jermell Charlo, Carlos Adames, and Jaime Munguia. So, no fighter ever wants to lose a fight. But if you do lose a fight, those are some solid names to lose fights too. And he gave all of those individuals a great fight. And in those losses, he's never been stopped before. He's been dropped before, but he's never been completely stopped before. As I said, Derevyanchenko, 38 years old. He's getting a little bit older. We know Father Time is undefeated, but there's no quit in Derevyanchenko, man. You remember when he fought Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, a few years back, and he got dropped in that first round. And everything looked like after that round, it looked like everything was going to go downhill for him. But Derevyanchenko woke up after that knockdown and came back strong for the rest of that fight, man. He gave Triple G some serious work in that fight. He had Triple G hurt a couple times in that fight to the body. In the 5th round, I believe it was, he hit Triple G with a wicked body shot, and Triple G was on the back foot trying to evade, trying to get out of there. In their fight, Derevyanchenko was the younger fighter. Triple G was a little bit older. And that version of Triple G, man, Derevyanchenko was giving him some serious work. Right? That was a fight where many people wanted to see a rematch of that fight and applauded Derevyanchenko for the work that he was doing and how he fought. Right? We know Triple G has a wicked chin, but that body was getting touched up. And that's what Derevyanchenko seemed to be attacking the most. So his IQ in the ring, man, the experience is paying off. Like, he knows what to hit, when to hit at the right time, and how to get his shots through. And a couple rounds in that fight, you had Triple G fighting off of the back foot. How many times have we seen Triple G on the back foot? It's not a whole lot, right? And Derevyanchenko, he was able to do that. Now, Derevyanchenko looked great in that fight, man. So even in defeat, when he fought Triple G, you could see the skill, you could see the will, you could see the boxing IQ. Derevyanchenko was getting touched up, yes, but there's no quitting that man. Now, when we go over to Mbilli, man, he was in a tough fight against Carlos Gongora, right? It was the first time that I saw him hurt. He won the fight, but he was getting touched up with some uppercuts and had his legs wobbly, and him clinching to Gongora to buy time to survive the round. Mbilli doesn't have that one-shot knockout type of shot to me. He has a lot of knockouts, but he's not a one-shot knockout type of puncher. Very few fighters are. But he's got that consistency and that work rate, and it's the accumulation of punches that overwhelms his opponents and make him so dangerous, right? His aggressive style does get him in trouble at times, right? Like, we love the aggressive style, the heavy work rate, the thudding punches, right? The in close range pocket. Like, excellent combination puncher. But sometimes, man, that style does get him in trouble. Specifically against Carlos Gongora, man, those uppercuts he was getting clipped with, and Gongora was slipping those uppercuts in. But how he was able to slip it in from in close with not a lot of distance to really load up on the shot, the timing was exceptional of Gongora, and he just kept finding the right angle at the right time and seemed like he was clipping the same spot over and over again. But I think that's partially because sometimes, man, when Mbilli is in close, right, he's leaning that head on you and his hands are like this because he's looking to load up and to come over the top. But when his high guard is not as complete and not as tight and he's trying to lean over the top, it's easy to come underneath it and hit him with an uppercut. And that's what Gongora was doing. You know, I think the uppercuts will be open if the timing is right for Derevyanchenko to land some of those same shots that had Mbilli in trouble when he fought Carlos Gongora. Mbilli has fought twice this year already. First fight was when he fought Rohan Murdoch. And I got to say, man, I saw a much more patient version of Mbilli and a better defensive guy. You know, sometimes it looks like Mbilli is just swinging for the stars, but I saw him using the jab a lot more in that fight. You know, jabbing to the head, then switching angles and jabbing to the body, then coming over the top. So he did a much better job of setting up his shots and made things a lot more fluid, which made his combinations that much sweeter, that much more effective. So when his fight against Murdoch, I was very impressed with his accuracy and the combination and the angles that he took to get some of those shots off. I just saw improvement against Murdoch. And, you know, Murdoch was too tough for his own good, man, because I felt like he did not need to take a lot of those shots and punishments that he did, because Mbilli was stepping to him from the first round all the way to the end, man. Then he goes on to fight Mark Heffernan. And I mean, he closed out the show in the first round with a wicked body shot. And I don't think that Mbilli thought that it was going to be that easy. But, you know, when you go to the body and you hit the body in the right spot, man, you know, in the liver, very few people can withstand some of those shots, especially the type of power that Mbilli generates from in close range. Now, the good thing that I think will work in the favor of Derevyanchenko is the fact that, you know, he has fought a young, aggressive pressure fighter recently when he fought Jaime Munguia. You know, last year, man, that was a fight of the year candidate when he fought Jaime Munguia. You know what I'm saying? He came out from the first round putting pressure on the younger man. Seemed like he was trying to overwhelm and jump on Munguia early and try to catch him flabbergasted and overwhelming him with pressure, right? And he had Munguia backing up. Munguia seemed like he was hurt in the first round. But then in the second round, Munguia came back and turned the momentum against Derevyanchenko and got the momentum back in his favor. But the best thing Derevyanchenko did early in that fight was digging to the body and making the body a priority. I felt like Derevyanchenko was, you know, when he was being more offensive and pushing the pace and coming on the front foot, he was having success because Munguia is not the greatest fighter fighting off of the back foot. But when he allowed Munguia to use his jab and to come forward and dictate the pace of the fight, that's when Derevyanchenko was losing momentum and it wasn't working in his favor. If you let Munguia come forward and put his combinations together and find his groove and his rhythm, man, he's going to put forth 4-piece, 5-piece, 6-piece combinations, and it's going to be hard to return anything back to him. But it also seemed sometimes during those exchanges, you know, Derevyanchenko was having some of his biggest moments. It was during those exchanges when he seemed like he was hurt. You know, when Munguia came in with a little bit more calculated attacks and using the jab, he was able to bait Derevyanchenko in and catch him with that straight hand. And Derevyanchenko did not move his head off of the line. But when Derevyanchenko looks hurt, man, he's still a dangerous opponent. He's still a dangerous man because he's still punching, even though he seems like and looks like and quite noticeably might be hurt, he's still going to punch. There's no quit in Derevyanchenko. But when he fought Munguia, man, that was just an excellent, excellent, excellent fight. And it was a fight where on paper, Munguia was supposed to win and not really have too much trouble. But that's the beauty of boxing is on paper, it could say one thing, but when you get into the ring, it could be a completely different story, man. So a very good win from Munguia, but he definitely had to earn that because Derevyanchenko seemed like he turned back the hands of time one more time, even though he was the much older fighter. As I said, this man is still dangerous. He can still fight. Derevyanchenko fought once last year when he fought Von Alexander. Von Alexander, man, a great comeback story, to come back in the sport of boxing and still boxing today. And he fought as best as he could. He had some pretty good moments throughout the fight, but 18 wins for Alexander, 12 losses. So it wasn't supposed to be the toughest test for Derevyanchenko. He's fought much harder opposition, but I thought Derevyanchenko boxed very well. That was a fight where he didn't stop Alexander, but he did score a knockdown. And, he just took his time, man. I thought he'd had some really nice angle switches, some nice changes, used his jab, and just did a good job of boxing and boxing smart. Sometimes you go into fights and you're supposed to win, and then you get shocked, right? Alexander did make Derevyanchenko have to work to get the win, man. He had some good moments, but all in all, Derevyanchenko boxed very well in that fight, and it was just a good fight, man. So this is going to be a nice battle with him and Mbilli. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for either man. I think once again, Derevyanchenko is going to turn back the hands of time again and put forth an excellent performance, but will it be enough? So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/thebreakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. Gongora almost turned the fight in his favor against Mbilli. And I think Derevyanchenko can do the same if timed correctly and if he fights smartly. You can't come into an all-out exchange type of war type of fight against Mbilli, man. He throws too much. He's too much in great conditioning shape. The power punches are going to beat too much. That's not how you beat him fighting his fight. There are going to be moments when Derevyanchenko can counter Mbilli because sometimes Mbilli loads up so much on his punches that when he misses, man, that rib is right open to be hit, to be targeted. I think he can counter Mbilli and have some moments there, but he's got to make those moments count and make him pay when those moments are present. Can he evade Mbilli for 12 rounds? Derevyanchenko's been through so much wars already, and all of the tough fights against the top opposition that he's faced, he's kind of seemed to come up just a little bit short. Even though he has put forth great performances, he still came up short against those top guys. So he is going to bring his best. Mbilli is going to bring his best. Both men can fight on the inside, and both men fight on the inside very well. Derevyanchenko, I think, fights on the outside a little better than Mbilli. I think Derevyanchenko was an excellent boxer on the inside and on the outside. But what is his game plan going to be? And can he evade the younger man, the guy who is going to throw over 100 punches each round? And fighting in Canada, the ring is going to be smaller, so there might not be a whole lot of space for Derevyanchenko to go at least for 12 rounds. So the other thing that I will say is, man, some of the shots in Mbilli's recent fights, he's blocked some of those shots with his hands. So not all of those shots are always getting through. So, can Derevyanchenko evade Mbilli's work rate for 12 rounds? How much does the 38-year-old have left? Derevyanchenko has fought the better competition, the better opposition. He's the more experienced fighter at the high level. But for me, man, I don't think he will be able to keep up with the work rate of Mbilli. Maybe a couple of years ago, but at 38 and all the wars that he has been through, I still think he can turn back the hands of time and put forth another spectacular performance. But I just don't think it will be enough. In a close round in Canada, in a smaller ring, man, he's going to have to be very apparent that he is winning these rounds. I think Mbilli is going to rip to the body. I think he's going to rip to the body early, just like Munguia did. And I think this fight is going to go the distance, man. I like Christian Mbilli to win this fight by decision. I think he's just going to be able to outwork Derevyanchenko. I do expect Mbilli to have some shaky moments in this fight where he has to get up and dig. Maybe he gets dropped for the first time in the canvas. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Derevyanchenko on the canvas a couple times. I think it's going to be a lot of action, knockdown or two, but I like Christian Mbilli to win this fight by decision. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. So with all that being said, man, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Share this with a friend. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And we will see you next time.